What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormies presents the Ahnenerbe Hour. I am Johnny Monoxide, and tonight I'm joined by Scott Taylor, Adam Haidt, Musonius Rufus, and a special guest, Rybo. What's happening, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Happy to be here.
So,
Hello?
hello. Hey, Rybo, you're there, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, happy to join you guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude. We'll get to this in just a minute. It is time for, we've got some emails. I got an email the other day saying that, hey, last week we said we didn't get any emails, and we got an email saying, hey, I did send you an email. So, this guy, we'll put it in the thing. He sent us an email. It's a picture of Paranormies tinfoil. So the official tinfoil of the Paranormies. It is 1,488 feet. So, and
nice.
Yeah, and he literally said, "What do you mean you got no emails? I sent you one with Paranormies branded tinfoil. What could be more mentionable than that?" All right, we got you there. Thank you, TL. We're here. And another one says, hello, Johnny and company. Want to submit my thoughts regarding Disney and when it went downhill. As far as I remember, it was stated on the show that Disney went downhill in regards to degenerate themes in their animated films after Walt died and passed the company on to Roy the Goy. However, I posit that the company's content actually went downhill after Ron, Walt's son-in-law, sold the company to Eisner. As shown in the picture attached, there wasn't much degenerate content from the original two Disneys, Walt and Roy, nor was there much degeneration from Ron Miller, except for one aberration which can be considered a fluke, as there were Mexican starring films from the original Walt animation, as well as Saludo Amigos and the Three Caballeros. As you can see, Disney Animations only went full pause after Eisner took full control. Both Roy and Ron did fine as far as content goes. Ron Miller sold the company in '84, and there's a very clear decline in quality, both morally and entertainment value after this happened, not before. Love listening to the podcast. Can't wait for the next episode. Thank the future wife and mother to Aryan children. P.S. Monoxide, are you keto? I believe I heard you mention the underground bases that you are. I cut the keto and wheat Jew out of my life in August last year and no longer have pre-diabetes or high blood pressure and lost 50 pounds, putting me in a range that will mean easier and safer pregnancies in the future. Fuck kikes and their high fructose corn syrup and brains. PBS, the first person to say that saturated fats are unhealthy was a Jew, Ansel Keys, and was the major influencer of the recommended food pyramid. Wow. Yeah, thanks, Siobhan. Thank you for that email. I am, now that you say that, I'm going straight back to keto because I like to get blackout drunk. No, kidding. Yeah, so those are the emails for this week. We actually, oh wait, one more. From Squid. Squid says, Chatelet, big fan of the show. I've had a plethora of experiences in chakras, wavelengths, vibrational frequencies, sigil magic, crystal healing, Reiki, energy manipulation, and others, which I'm currently forgetting. I enjoyed your NDE episode and have some theories as to how that and all the aforementioned topics relate. I'd love to share my experiences and feel as though I could contribute some knowledge if you guys were ever to do a cast on chakras and metaphysics. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the content. Signed, Squid. Yeah, we're not doing that hippy dippy bullshit. So, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. What do you guys think about chakras and all that stuff?
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
If someone wants to talk about it, I'll listen.
Fairies and boulders.
Yeah,
You know,
it's not
like-
we. Yeah, I mean, come on, let's.
We're very open-minded here.
We don't have standards here.
Whoa, we have standards. We're just not so open-minded that our brains fall out of our heads, but we're open-minded. All right, so there. As for
Good way
that,
to put it.
yeah. As for that goes, you, Goyim, can email us at paranormiespresent@gmail.com, and our Twitter is @theparanormies. that usually you'll get, depending on who's actually paying attention at the time. It's either me or Scott that does the Twitter. Scott's been doing a pretty good job. I've been trying to pick up the slack. Sorry about that, Scott. I'm doing my best. But
I finally figured out how to turn off notifications so my phone doesn't blow up at 3 a.m. anymore.
Oh, good. We got a couple of donations this week. There was one, I'm not sure if we covered it last time, but Corey sent us $30. Thanks, Corey. We got a donation for $14.88 from Aaron. And we got a donation for $14.88 from Mike. So thank you, Goyam, for the donations. And
thank you very much.
And wait, Siobhan not only sent us a very counter-Semitic email, but she also sent us $14.88. So thank you, Siobhan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Glad you can have more Aryan babies. That's super awesome. All right. So, going from the fun part of the show to the serious part of the show, which is the topic this week. There has been a thing going around on the internet, and especially YouTube, and not just YouTube, but YouTube Kids. And it's a very disturbing series of videos. You guys who have listened to us for a long time remember the Pizzagate episode, and the pedophilia type things that have gone on with that. This is very similar. It seems to be some sort of grooming or conditioning videos for kids. Rybo, we brought you on as kind of an expert, or somebody who's been involved in this longer than we have. But you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure thing. What brought our group together was some comments that originated on some of these videos. Most of our group is formed through 4chan Poll, X, and 8chan users who formed a small Discord or a few small Discords and then merged together. There was a strange comment on one of these kids' videos that it was written in a cipher. It turned out to be a Caesar cipher that led to a very cryptic Twitter with some encrypted messages on there as well, and it led us down a rabbit hole of clues and puzzles, which also led to some YouTube videos made by the creator of this. We're going to call it an ARG, alternate reality game for simplification here. But following this ARG, we led to some YouTube videos that were disturbing. They played strange high pitch frequencies and referenced triggers, much like MK Ultra programming.
Now, this was all kind of familiar to me when I first heard about it a couple weeks ago. And the reason I say that is because there were some games online.
Oh, God, girl games?
Yeah, girl games. I assume you guys are all familiar with that as well, since you're doing the YouTube stuff. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. And we found direct connections between the creators of these kids' videos and the games. There's a number of email addresses and accounts that are associated with both. So we definitely think that there's some kind of network involved in creating, taking popular children's characters and using them to create disturbing imagery.
Yeah,
So
the girl
you
game
guys have-
stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
For the audience, it's these little flash games featuring like Disney characters and stuff like Dora the Explorer, things that would, like, a little kid would not, or they would be attracted to these characters that they recognize from television and movies. And the games are often very disturbing, like chemotherapy games and like very disturbing dental surgery type things. And so there's this contrast of these, imagery that were designed just to sell to kids, on TV and stuff, with this very violent and I guess this like imagery to trigger disgust and these sorts of things.
For sure. I think Elsa from the Disney movie, Disney in parentheses, Disney movie Frozen, Elsa is the main character in most of these games, and even still in these YouTube videos. Elsa is just a popular tag that little girls search for. They want to be like Elsa. The other person being Spider-Man, that's what little boys search for. Spider-Man being a pop culture figure, they search for Spider-Man and or Elsa, and they're directed to these videos and games. The games, yeah, like you said, there's Elsa brain surgery, Elsa pregnancy, like a C-section pregnancy. I think there's even ones about abortion, and it's very grim.
Yeah, there's
it's
quite
not
a few of
something
those.
that anyone in their right mind would make for kids. And the thing that astounds me the most about these is how many of these games there were. Like, I don't know if it's like a drag and drop thing or what, but it's like there's dozens and dozens of these things. And same with the videos too.
Certainly seems like there's a template for both. Quick reference to the games. There was one that's definitely connected to the videos was called 88 Games, and they have a lot of those Elsa games, and the email address associated with that account directly connected to people who make these live action videos.
So you guys have found a lot of emails, and you guys kind of have somewhat of an idea of who's making these?
Yeah, we have a pretty good docs team, and we've only been together for about a week and a half, and we've collected pretty extensive research on the people behind them. Not only that, but a few months ago, H3H3, PewDiePie, as well as I think JonTron did some videos about the disturbing kids videos. I don't want to go too conspiracy hard here, but they all lost funding, recently.
Yeah, well,
hey, you're on the Paranormies. You can go as conspiratard as you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder how much of a coincidence that is. That it's they all spoke out.
Well,
did you
we
see
say
the video?
there's no such thing as coincidences here.
Yeah,
so.
we absolutely do not believe in coincidences. There's literally no such thing. So
in regards to H3H3, did you happen to see the video where, like, I think 12 minutes in, it's like Spider-Man stabbing, they're like beating the crap out of the Joker on this couch, and Spider-Man gets a sword and starts stabbing Joker, and you can very clearly hear this high-pitched voice saying H3H3 is going down.
Probably and likely, H3H3 exposed Ethan Bradbury and some other YouTube pranksters as being behind a lot of them. So I wouldn't doubt that they're calling him out.
What kind of YouTube pranksters are these? It's like the guy that goes and gets beat up in the ghetto by a bunch of black dudes or whatever.
Exactly. That same guy who was behind a lot of those and was proven that those were fake, and now he's getting exposed again and calling it out.
That's okay. So I don't understand. I mean, what would the motivation be for someone to make these videos? Because I mean, they're pretty fucked up. So, the money. Is it
money's got to be a
prank thing?
Money's got to be a big factor for sure. I mean, these videos are getting tens of millions of views. The channels have billions of views. They're all monetized and strangely not flagged by Disney.
Well, that was the one thing.
Yeah, that was something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was the one thing when I was talking to you earlier today, that Rybo, is how somebody who is notoriously litigious like Disney hasn't even made a peep. I mean, you've got Marvel, you've got and Disney characters that are being used in these things, and not a lawsuit, not a cease and desist, not nothing, Not even the mixing.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah, not even the mixing of Marvel. And then you got another thing's weird is you got the mixing of Marvel and DC characters. You've got like the Joker and Spider-Man in the same videos. That's Spider-Man is Marvel and the Joker is DC Comics. That's another just a weird aside.
It's a little strange, the specifics that they use. They almost always use Elsa. They almost always use Spider-Man, and almost always use the Joker. And it's strange that there's no Batman. There's no Superman. They're very specific about the characters that they use.
They only had enough money for like one costume set.
And it's worldwide though. We found videos originating from Brazil, Russia, the Philippines, the United States, China, everywhere. They all use the same Joker mask, which is really interesting, and typically the same Spider-Man costume. But I'm sure it might just be the cheapest one on Amazon or whatever they're getting.
Well, I think you might have said it. Yeah, it's a formula, right? These are the most popular characters that draw the most children.
It really seems like it. And the disturbing things that are all in the videos, it seems like there's a checklist that the channel uses. Like they all have the certain same disturbing content. There's always spiders. There's always injections. There's always pregnancy. It always draws an extreme. There's other things like ball busting, where they have like cars running over things. That's another popular theme, and it's like Elsa behind the wheel.
It's really weird. Hey, do you want to go ahead and play one of your things now? And
sure, if you want to get started with our first one, that'll give a good general overview.
And that's the disturbing content, correct?
Correct.
All right, everybody, hang tight. Let me hit this.
There has been a recent phenomenon of such as Elsa.
Shit. Hang on a second. Here we go.
There has been a recent phenomenon of popular characters such as Elsa from Frozen and Spider-Man featuring in live-action videos on YouTube. These videos stretch across dozens of YouTube channels and collectively have been watched tens of billions of times, presumably by small children under the age of 5. Even the most hard-working of parents often use YouTube as a means of keeping their children occupied when they need to take care of important tasks or run errands. Parents may think these videos are completely harmless entertainment for their kids, but upon closer inspection, their far more sinister nature is revealed. Let's take this video with 12 million views as an example. It opens with us being introduced to Elsa and Spider-Man doing everyday tasks, like painting fingernails, taking a bath, and making a phone call, while happy-go-lucky music plays in the background. Next, some mischievous but lighthearted music starts playing as we are introduced to the Joker, another widely known character. He sneaks up on Elsa, and well, you can see for yourself.
And what you can't see right now is Elsa getting her fingers slammed at a door and the Joker playing with her fingers.
Needless to say, this is disturbing to watch, and I apologize for not providing a warning for the faint of heart in advance. But I did this on purpose. This video has been seen over 12 million times, and let's just look at the tags, shall we? Spider-Man, Frozen, Elsa, superhero, fun. What sort of people do you think are searching these tags? It's either going to be children or parents searching for videos for their kids to watch. These kids didn't have the luxury of getting a warning either. Even if you try to only find appropriate content based on the video titles, after clicking some related videos in the sidebar, you will run into the same issue eventually. Because all of these videos have the same tags, despite some being child-friendly and others being absolutely horrifying. Why is this content being made for children and in such huge amounts? It's likely that this is a method of grooming by pedophiles. By exposing small children to traumatic content repeatedly with familiar characters, it normalizes what they see, and makes them less resistant to otherwise traumatic experiences later on, like abduction or even rape, especially if such predators were to dress in these same costumes. Clearly, this is a problem. So what can we do about it? Well, first, if you or someone you know has a small child, find some other way for them to be entertained. Being a parent is no small task, but we can't rely on these videos as a crutch anymore, because they could be causing serious harm to our kids. Next, spread the word. Contact your local news agency, PTA, or other community organization to spread awareness of these videos. we can make a huge difference by raising awareness of this issue.
Yeah, that was pretty disturbing. I mean, we'll link. Haven't figured out yet what we're going to do with it. We'll either link the video in the description so people can watch it, or we'll have Adam do his best with his Vegas skills to put it in the YouTube. Either way, you're gonna have to. You people are gonna have to look it up. You have to see this for yourself. Yeah. So this is pretty creepy stuff. The videos, like Scott, you posted the one in the thread we started, and it was it Bad Baby Learns Colors or something? And that's how it got started. Yeah. And I watched that.
So messed up.
It is so messed up. And just like that's the very first video. And what I did was I started watching it, and I just did like a kid would do. Like a kid doesn't, like a baby. Like you put a baby in front of YouTube, he doesn't know how to click on anything. It just goes to the next video and the next video and the next video all by itself. I let that go like 5 or 6 videos in. But okay, so the first video was the Bad Baby Learns Colors, and it's a smiling, happy baby, and it's like a freeze frame of a baby's face. It's a single cell of a baby's face, and there's 5 balloons, and out of there's red, blue, green, yellow, whatever your basic colors. On the top of the screen, down comes a spider and pops the balloon, and then a voice says the color of the balloon that pops. It says blue. Well, when the spider pops the balloon, the baby cries, right?
Yeah, it's like a real bad cry too. It's not like a little like.
I know it's like somebody put a cigarette out on that baby's thigh.
Yeah, if you have kids, you know the difference between they cry like when they get hurt, or like when they're just being fussy. It sounded like someone smacked the kid. Like that's the kind of cry it was.
Yeah, it wasn't just your average, just irritable baby cry.
No, it was an upset cry. And then with the baby's face changed to like this crying baby, and so that happened like 5 times or whatever, one for each color, and then it. Like the balloons turned into bombs or something that blew up, and the same thing happened. The most disturbing part about this video for me was, and the crying baby was pretty bad, but the colors didn't always match what the guy would say, and it was edited in really. I don't know if it was like it was poorly done, but I don't know if it was on purpose. But it would be like the balloon would pop, and the guy would be like blue, like. It didn't fit in with the video. It sounded like someone just kind of yelled it in. And a couple of them, though, the colors that the balloons popped didn't match the colors that the guy would say. So it would be like red, and the guy would be like green. And that was so unusual to me that I feel like there had to have been something else behind it. Not just I don't know. It didn't seem like an accident. It almost seemed like it happened on purpose.
It's sexual sadism, isn't it? Have you guys ever heard of Dean Corll, the Houston Candyman?
No.
He's one of the worst serial killers that ever lived. He killed, almost 30 boys that we know of. But he was a sexual sadist, and with these characters, they get the sadism and sexuality is crossed in their minds, and so they get sexual stimulation from causing pain. And that's what you're describing sounds like someone who would get off on that.
Yeah, it could be.
Because that's not
the colors keep. Yeah, right. And the colors keep popping up too. Whatever the colors were, like blue, red, yellow, green, and pink, or something like that. It pops up in almost every one of these videos. It's a motif. You have like your Spider-Man motif, your Elsa motif, and another one is these 5 colors. And I can't remember off the top of my head which ones they are, but they're the same 5 colors, and they appear in the same order, left to right, in virtually every one of these videos. Now, supposedly these colors are representative of other things. Rybo, do you know about that?
To some extent, and this kind of goes back to the ARG that brought our group together. In the videos that the ARG creator made, he referenced triggers and had some messages that yellow is your trigger, green. He would say, green, your trigger is let's go for a walk in the garden. And that kind of reminds me of MK Ultra Project Monarch, where you see somebody with a monarch tattoo, and you could say, "Let's go to Wonderland," and then they'd be subservient to you.
Yeah, I know we've discussed in the past on here. I know we've discussed a lot of CIA stuff. Should we talk about Monarch and MK Ultra for a bit? I think
let's do that.
Be a good time to introduce it.
Let's do that. Yeah,
Sure.
Musonius, you've done a lot of research on these, and I know Adam, you were doing a lot of. Actually, Adam was trying to do research on this, but what did you come up with, Adam?
Well, so it's really hard to do research on it because you go to this website and it seems like it has good stuff, and then it starts to go a little bit schizo, talking about like Nazi Illuminati, and then you follow a couple links on the website and you're getting stuff to like this light network that talks about like cosmic consciousness and the vibration of the universe and stuff like that. Just sort of retroactively makes me discredit the kind of thing I was looking at. But the sort of consistent thing that seems like it's probably real is that essentially Monarch under MK Ultra was a mind control program, and it was a trauma based, and so they would use traumatic experiences in order to make somebody more suggestible and sort of break down their consciousness and get them to dissociate from reality. And as a what's the word, like as a sort of escapism, defense mechanism against the experiences they were had, and from there they were easier to control.
Yeah, MK Ultra used a lot of drugs and traumatic techniques to interrogate people. This has been released. The Monarch mind control is the theory that it just kept on going, that they got more and more advanced with it, to create assassins like Sirhan, who killed Bobby Kennedy. He has no memory of killing Bobby Kennedy, and if he did, he would be a free man by now, because the parole boards want to hear him admit that he did it, and he can't admit that he did it. So the allegation is, and there was Monarch stuff involved there, where there was a woman in like a polka dot dress. You have a certain pattern that through trauma you get the person to associate with that pattern. And so it sounds like the allegation here is that they're doing a mini Monarch mind control program on children to get them to associate certain patterns of colors with trauma, like hearing a baby scream. And that will allow them to abduct these children or whatever. Does that make sense?
I would like to mention a lot of people, because I was on X and Poll and some of the threads on Bant, trying to follow this when it first sort of blew up like a week and a half ago, and I sort of lost track. But one common thing that you'd see people say is like, oh, this is retarded. Why would the government be involved in this? And, what these people, like, what you have to remember about this is just because someone is using techniques developed by the CIA or some other branch of the government doesn't mean that anybody using those techniques at any point later on is part of the CIA or whatever branch of the government. Like these techniques were used because they work, and it doesn't matter who does them as long as you do them and do them, correctly, whatever that means in this case. So it doesn't have to be like the CIA doesn't have to be behind these videos. It just happens to use similar techniques because they work.
Absolutely. Take a look at Vault 7 and the ransomware that happened a few weeks ago. That was just hackers who exploited CIA or FBI techniques and used it to their own gain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Yeah. The Vault 7 had a lot of stuff that was CIA related. So this pastebin that you just linked with all this MK Ultra stuff, there's the Monarch program. So many things like the Monarch Alpha, the Beta, Delta. There's, oh my God, Theta.
There's phases. It's like Alpha is a programming phase. Delta is a sexual, or Beta is a sexualized phase. Delta is more like a violence phase. Theta is a kind of a combination that deals with your brain waves and sorting it all out. And then an Omega, that ultimately results in, self-destruction or, suicide. And there's no doubt that there are videos like that as well. We've seen ones with Mickey Mouse killing himself. Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like I was saying before, watching. Okay, so I started off with Bad Baby Learns Colors, and I just let it run. Right, let the next video go. Let the next video go. Let the next video go. It wasn't 5 or 6 videos into it where I was seeing suicide and people getting run over with cars and babies being drowned in a pool and kids eating chocolate out of a toilet. Can we talk about the scat stuff for a second? Like, that's really fucking disturbing to me.
It's absolutely, there's so much of this is fetishized, and that makes me think that there's definitely some pedophiles associated with it. People who are drawn to these extreme fetishes, and they want to maybe make these children groomed to accept it.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind at all that this is like simulated child pornography. And while we're talking about that, if anybody goes on YouTube to see this stuff for yourself, don't click on anything that has Cyrillic or looks like Russian content, because didn't some people find some basically child pornography on YouTube that way?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah,
you can click through a couple of layers.
Cyrillic.
Yeah, you can click through a couple of layers of the Cyrillic, and next thing you know, you're looking at actual child porn, and you don't need that on your search history.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
it's awful. It's not just the Russians.
We're not doing it. Yeah,
we see it. We've our guys investigating videos have seen so much garbage. It's unfortunate. My heart pours for those fellows.
I feel bad for them because that shit's in their search history.
Absolutely. Most of them are very net savvy, so they know to use Tor and are behind proxies. And,
multiple. I'm behind 7 proxies.
It almost seems like something where, if whoever is behind this was connected to the government or something, it's like, oh, well, what were you looking at? And it's a way to almost get researchers in trouble.
That could be part of it. Another thing we've noticed is that the people that comments on these videos are all it seems like they're either a botnet or perhaps using some kind of code, because if you click on the profiles of the people who make the comments on any of these children's videos, they'll usually have one video of a child for 5 or 10 seconds, and that'll be it, almost like it's an ad.
Oh, dude, I didn't realize.
Did you see that the black dog dude or whatever that was it appeared to be videos advertising explicitly for sale, for sale, direct, come
Black
here.
Dog is another ARG, and our group's kind of confused about what it is or how it's related.
Right.
We kind of think one of two theories. It's someone trying to discredit our ARG, because the creator of our ARG, he seems a bit more altruistic. His intentions were to expose this stuff, and he got our group of 300 to 500 people doing research and trying to expose it. But we think that Black Dog is either someone trying to discredit him, or maybe just some nerd piggybacking on the popularity of it.
Okay.
Hopefully it's nothing real and serious, because it didn't happen until our ARG came to a close. So we got to the last part of it, and that was it. It was done, and then all of a sudden Black Dog popped up.
That's the frustrating thing about a lot of this, is it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. And I used to go on X a lot as the paranormal board, for people who don't know. I used to go in there a lot as a teenager, and the kind of ARG thing, you would see it a lot, and they all tend to have certain typing patterns, and a lot of it's just all make believe. I could go on there right now and I could find some thread of people pretending to be Thor or something, and trying to get followers, and it's frustrating because a lot of that is mixed in with a lot of stuff that I think is real and what I think is serious. So you get someone on there, it's the blue cow strikes at midnight, and it just doesn't mean anything.
It's just bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. Yeah. It's frustrating. And I think a lot of it is people trying to muddy the waters. Like, if I were one of these people running one of these channels, that's exactly what I would do. Is I would have someone go on there and post a bunch of cryptic stuff and try to kind of lead people astray. And it's really distracting.
But the thing is like the entire comments threads are all in this weird sort of not the YouTube comments. I'm talking about the threads on like X or I literally what's really messed up.
Comments are equally strange.
I'm gonna dime myself out right here. At being the host of the Paranormies Presents, I've literally never been on X. Not one time. Okay. I know
it's not so good anymore.
No, I know, but like everybody's like, oh,
it's mostly
X. Remember that from X? I don't because I've never been on it. I remember the X-Files.
Anymore, it's a lot of what I kind of described. It's a lot of LARPing and stuff like that. But as far as the YouTube comments go, there was that one screenshot I posted. So it's one of these videos, and a lot of the comments are just random words, or not even random words, like random letters, like a kid smacking a keyboard, you know. The weird one that I saw in the middle of all these, it's a string of random letters like that, and in the middle of it, it says the word assassination, and then a few letters over, it says Castillo, like somebody's name, and then a few letters over, it says bid, and then it's got some numbers. So I thought that was really strange to be in the middle of all these, random letters and words and comments. So I think there might be something to this idea that people are posting hidden messages on these videos as well.
For sure. Some are more blatant, like our people have dug through videos of just children playing, nothing nefarious about the video itself, but you'll see a comment with a timestamp and it'll say, nice shot, 54 seconds. And you go to 54 seconds and it's like that kid's butt, zoomed in.
Yeah,
right.
I saw those too. That's really disturbing because there are pedos that are watching this, and it's not just kids, even though it's YouTube Kids. Actually, one of the guys that got me thinking about this, what's his name, Ahmed from your Discord group?
Yeah, probably Ahmed.
Yeah, Ahmed. He had posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook, and some of the commenters were talking about, hey, my kid, I came in the room and my kid was watching this, and this, it's definitely geared towards kids, like, and it ends up that kids watch it, but somehow there's adults watch. Kids aren't going to comment on this. A 3-year-old is not going to comment on one of these things. These are actual grown-ups that are watching these and making these comments. So that's another thing that's even more disturbing is the fact that there's X amount of comments that are being made by adults on videos that are on YouTube Kids. And it's like you said, 54 seconds, nice shot. And it's a kid's butt, or it's wow, I like that at 1:42, and at 1:42, there's a girl who fell down and her legs are spread. It's like. That's
very strange. We've been in touch with the creator of the ARG. He's been following this stuff for a lot longer than we have, and he's even noticed some people who are posting their personal information. I've seen other things too. Like it seemed like a copy of an email was just randomly posted in the comments, and I don't know if that's a kid on a tablet just pressing buttons and accidentally copy pastaing their parents' email, and some of the things that are just random letters might be the kid as well. But there's got to be more to it. There's just way too much of it.
Yeah, there has to be. I mean, it just, again, it's too many coincidences, and as we've stated many, many, many times here on the Paranormies, we don't believe in coincidence.
Well, what do you think? What do you think about the Monarch mind control stuff, guys? Because it's interesting to me that whenever we talk about these pedophile rings, there's always like art of dissociated personalities, color patterns, the idea that trauma can create a sex slave. Oh,
there's a lot of DID involved, dissociative identity disorder type stuff. That's That's definitely monarch mind control.
It seems like they would have spawned out of like these people are abusing, children and others like anyway. So if they're gonna, it seems logical that they would try to figure out the best way to go about doing it so they don't get caught and so they can get away with more.
Right. And some of the things they use in like basically to control somebody, you have different methods like, abuse and torture, confinement, restraint, near drownings, extreme cases of heat and cold, spinning, blinding light, electric shocks, forced ingestion of offensive body fluids and matter, such as like blood or urine or feces or whatever.
A lot of drugs.
You have drugs, yep. Sleep deprivation, compression with weights and devices, sensory deprivation, drugs to create illusion, confusion, and amnesia, often given by injection. Now, there's a lot of videos showing Elsa and other people getting injections in their butt, whether it's, I said something about vaccinations, but Rybo, you said that might have something to do with drug use.
I think it more has to do with doping people. There are some live action ones going back to those Russian videos where it's family, and I've seen one, and I wish I didn't, where it was a father, sticking a fake needle, thank God, into his daughter's butt, and you could see her butt, and you could see her not wanting to be part of this at all. It's like Daddy of 5 times 5.
Right. Yeah, totally. After you said that, I went back and looked, and I'm like, yeah, that's not vaccinations. That's drug use. Okay, so then you have ingestion or intravenous toxic chemicals, limbs pulled or dislocated, applications of snakes, spiders. There's a lot of spiders in all these. Rats. Sorry, Ignis, but you don't put the rats in your mouth this time. Near-death experiences. Asphyxiation or choking or drowning. There's a lot of videos that show babies drowning that I've seen. Watching movies involving yourself, like lookalike models, forcing to perform or witness abuse, forced participation in slavery, abuse to become pregnant. There's a lot of pregnant ones. Wasn't there a double pregnant Elsa where she's pregnant in the front and pregnant in the back?
Oh yeah, that's like a new trend that's just started. Double pregnancy.
Like literally, what the fuck? Desecration of Judeo-Christian beliefs and forms of worship, dedication to Satan or other deities, abuse and illusion to convince victims that God is evil, surgery. There's a lot of now with the pregnancies. There's almost always like a C-section being taken place. It's not a normal birth. You have harm or threats to family and use of illusion and virtual reality to confuse and create non-creditable disclosure. These are all methods of deconstruction of the human psyche, which they have used in MK Ultra programming. So, I mean, you see out of these 30 things that I just read off, I've seen probably 28 of them in these videos.
It's practically a checklist for the creators of these videos.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally a checklist. Okay, electric shock, check. Blinding light, check. Spinning, check. Limbs dislocated, check. Applications of spiders, check. Forced watching movies of yourself, check. Forced drowning, check. Like literally, it's disgusting. These. Oh my god! Like, I am actually.
These are the.
At this point, I'm happy that my kid watches like baseball card trading stuff on YouTube.
And my mom was concerned about me watching Ren and Stimpy, and that's a lot better than this crap when you really.
Oh man, actually, if you go back to Ren and Stimpy, was really bad. There's a lot of subliminal, sexual, deviant stuff in Ren. It's mostly sexual with Ren and Stimpy, but yeah, it wasn't this bad. Like there wasn't all this scat and violence and gore and death and dismemberment and drug use.
And at least you knew what Ren and Stimpy was. Like, unless you're like the most oblivious parent ever, you knew what Ren and Stimpy was. Whereas we have parents like letting their kids watch this stuff and they're just completely clueless about it.
Absolutely. The parent goes to a shower and, even just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and you give your kid your tablet, and God knows what they're learning from it. I think the Spider-Man Elsa is targeting kids like 3 to 6, maybe 3 to 8 years old, and then the Bad Baby videos are targeting the infantile children, and that just goes back to the alpha beta of MK Ultra Project Monarch, where the colors and the conditioning is part of the initial phase, and then these 30 deconstruction methods are part of the beta program, and sexualization is the beta, and the sexualization is part of these videos.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely got a sexual aspect to it. I mean,
yeah, there was one video I saw of like Elsa and Spider-Man like had a baby, and then like the baby's all wrapped up in a blanket. And then they take the blanket off, and it's like got a Joker mask on, and so there's just like
no, it wasn't even a Joker mask. It had like the Heath Ledger makeup on it.
Oh yeah, the makeup. You're right.
Yeah, that was super disturbing. I was watching that like 11:45 last night, right before I fell asleep. It was like one of the last videos I watched before I fell. I'm all fuck this shit. I'm going to bed, and I had this image of a baby Heath Ledger chasing me down the street with a knife or some shit. Yeah, super creepy.
When you dig too deep, your dreams can be disturbing. I could definitely attest to that myself personally. Also, another thing I wanted to comment on is that the parents who do catch their kids watching these things, when the kids act up, the kids seem to all say, they blame it on these characters. They'll say, "I didn't do that, Mommy. Elsa did that."
That kind of goes in with the dissociation.
Yeah, the dissociation.
And that's basically what it is. Like, Sirhan didn't shoot Robert Kennedy. Someone else did, or whatever.
Right. So, hey, Rybo, should we get into the second video that you guys have here?
Yeah, and the second one is about the infantile videos that are catering to the babies and very young ones, and we titled it "Learned Helplessness," which is a condition that kind of teaches babies to be accepting of failure, and we'll talk more about it in the video.
Yeah, let's do this.
There's currently a massive YouTube phenomenon of videos geared toward young children from infancy to preschool age. A large proportion of these videos are called Bad Baby Color and feature 5 colors being introduced to a baby one at a time. After each color is introduced, the baby cries. This may seem oddly specific for videos which span dozens of channels, hundreds of videos, and altogether have been watched billions of times by children. This video will focus on the sheer magnitude of those videos and the psychological effects they may be having besides simple lessons on colors. First, let's watch one of these videos to give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Orange finger, where are you? Here I am, how do you do?
This repeats for each color, and then moves on to other objects of the same color. Seems pretty simple, right? But what you may be wondering is, why is having the baby cry each time necessary? What purpose does this serve? Well, the answer is not immediately obvious, but one possibility is to cause a condition known as learned helplessness. This is a condition in which a person suffers from a sense of powerlessness arising from a traumatic event or persistent failure to succeed. It is thought to be one of the underlying causes of depression. According to Harvard University's Center on the Developing Child, in the absence of the buffering protection of adult support, toxic stress becomes built in the body by processes that shape the architecture of the developing brain. This means that if infants or young children are given their parents' tablets or mobile devices and end up watching these videos, the repeated exposure to these small stresses without relief could significantly impact their brain development in the long term. The example you saw has 25 million views, but is just one video out of the hundreds that a child can access through YouTube or YouTube Kids. It may seem strange, and exercising caution around these videos may seem, at first, unnecessary. But after doing some research on learned helplessness, you'll probably come to the same conclusion. These videos almost universally focus on 5 colors, with a depicted baby crying after each object is taken away. All while a repetitive song called Finger Family plays in the background. The themes are the same regardless of which channel is producing the content, suggesting there are more to the videos than meets the eye. Also keep in mind that these videos are easily found on the YouTube Kids app, and will appear in the sidebar of YouTube once one of the items is viewed. What this means is dozens of almost exactly the same video could be watched in a single day by your child on an otherwise safe platform. Parents need to be aware of what their kids are watching on YouTube and the possible effects that these videos may have over time. Education through internet videos is a powerful tool and shouldn't be avoided by fear. But without proper monitoring of the child's watch history, these so-called educational videos may be doing more harm than good. Please, spread awareness of these videos. Many parents don't realize the similarity of the bad baby color videos, but should be able to decide for themselves what their kids watch, especially if they watch many videos in a single day. Thank you for watching. Keep parents of young children informed on this subject, and please subscribe to our channel, Investigating YouTube, if you would like to see more updates on the darker side of children's YouTube.
Well, all right, that's pretty dark. That's the learned helplessness video.
Another thing I wanted to comment on in aspect of that video and the children's videos is this Finger Family song, which we can't find prior to 2007. It's like it's been constructed for these videos.
Hold on now, and the Finger Family. Go ahead and describe that.
That's this father finger, where are you? And they play it regardless of the context of the video. It doesn't necessarily need to be about showing the fingers on the hand. It could be one of the color, like that. The one that we made the video about is one of the color videos, but they're playing Finger Family. I mean, there are other weird ones where it's like Hitler fighting a dinosaur, and those are kind of funny. But it's all playing the same hypnotic song. We've had audio forensic analysis on the song, and there seems to be a missing wavelength as well, which is kind of suspicious, but we haven't really found anything, any deeper meaning to that.
By missing wavelength, you mean there's like a part of the audio that's just not there?
Yeah, it's just gone. It's like the 10K to 12K frequency range is just absent, even though there's stuff above it and below it.
Is there something to that 10K to 12K, like with like mind control programming or anything like Musonius? Do you know anything about that?
No, I'm afraid I don't. But it sounds like if there's missing pieces, the idea is that the piece will be provided later or something.
Strange.
Well, listen, Goyim, if you guys know anything about 10K to 12K, we'd be glad to hear what any of you listeners would have to say about that too. But go ahead, Adam.
There's a lot of theories on the audio frequency stuff. I think like the 455K. There's a lot of theories on that range, and 20 to 22K as well.
Adam, what were you going to say?
Oh, it's obviously not an accident. That it's going to naturally be there in probably any recording. But if it was like that, doesn't just not show up for no reason.
It seems like it was done intentionally. It kind of reminds me of how, there's been some Japanese videos I know that they've specifically been written like algorithmically, mathematically to go viral, like that pen pineapple pineapple. I can't even remember it.
Oh God!
But
yes, I have a pen. I have
that
a pineapple.
meme was
yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it was created intentionally to be catchy, to go viral, to get stuck in your head, and I think Finger Family is the same.
Yeah, I've had Finger Family stuck in my head ever since I was watching these videos. Like,
You can't get it out.
I feel like I literally right now I feel my heart racing. Like, it has this weird effect on me now. Like, it's a really stressful. It's like a really stressful thing to hear it even. So if it does that to me, I can only imagine what it does to some kid who sits there for hours on end, hearing some baby cry or seeing all this fucked up stuff, and then having that song play over and over. Like,
It's a very uncanny valley. It's like bleak, and it doesn't seem. It's like surreal.
yeah, it's like something you hear in a horror movie, you know. And like they have in a horror movie, like they always try to like be creepy on the previews. They'll have some kids singing or whatever.
Yeah,
because
like
it's
a
creepy.
nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something like that.
Super
I don't know.
creepy.
It really disturbs me.
And you can take like Scott, you were pointing out, you can look at these videos that are like abusive and disturbing, and you can go and find videos that are like actually made for kids, and there's a world of difference in the tone of them. Like,
Yeah, like, so, you know, I'll let my kid watch videos on YouTube. Like, I don't leave him alone, you know, I'm sitting there watching them with him. And they're actual kids' videos. And yeah, like you said, the tone is completely different. Like, one we like to watch is The Octonauts on Netflix. And, you know, it's a completely different tone than something like this. You know, like it's kid friendly, and it's not got any of this weird subliminal shit and any of these disturbing messages. So whoever made this is clearly, it's not an accident. I mean, you could kind of assume it's not an accident in the first place just by the fact that all this weird stuff's happening, but like, it doesn't even fit the tone of a kid's show in the first place.
Yeah, it's like they're getting off on introducing adult themes into a kid context. So
Yeah, like it's like something that like some like college art student would make, you know. It's like this weird artsy kind of, you know, hipstery. It almost reminds me of, do you remember with Pizzagate, they had like those bands or whatever that were associated with the Comet Pizza store, and they had like their advertisements and stuff, and they're like really fucked up flyers, and they had like really fucked up music videos. That's almost what it reminds me of.
yeah, one of them was called The Sex Stains.
Yes. Yeah, that was literally one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Do you guys remember the name of the artist off the top of your head, so I don't have to look it up?
Abramovich?
No,
Well, no,
Abramovich
that
was
was
the
the-
witch from Spirit Cooking, but the artist that did those videos, it was like a woman wearing a mask or a man pretending to be a woman wearing a mask, and it was like it was very the voice was very modulated, so it sounded like one of those. You ever see one like in a movie or a TV show where there's like a kidnapper and they do the thing where like, we have your son. Yeah. It was like literally like that, you know, the whole video was that like it sang in that tone of voice. It was super disturbing, and it raised up, as a parent, it raised up all the hair on the back of my neck. Like I wanted to kill it right then. Like it wanted to hurt my kid. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing that I've had with all of this. It's like,
Well,
I
you're a
wanna
recently
kill
new
whoever's
dad.
making it.
Yeah, you're a recently new
Yeah.
dad, so you're getting that parental, like, you know,
Murder instinct.
Yeah, one mother,
Yeah.
father, parental instinct. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to kill whoever makes these, like, flat out. Like, I want to kill them.
Yeah.
It's the most disturbing shit in the world. Like, I just, I saw Rybo just linked the video in our chat here. And, yeah, like you said, just viewing this thing, I want to kill it. Like, I don't know what the fuck its problem is, but it wants nothing good for my kid.
Yeah.
It-
Biased
One of the strange
asshole?
things is that the creator of our ARG that brought us all together is totally like an edgy goth dude, and he wants to expose this and hates this crap.
Yeah, there's
Oh
just
my
something
God.
so...
So
Is everybody
what do you
thoroughly
think's
rustled
going
right now?
on? Yeah, I'm Russell. Do you think that pedophile networks are using these same techniques and they're all in on it? You know, it's like if you torture a child in this way, you can have your own sex slave, or they won't tell their parents. I mean, what's your big theory, your grand theory of what's going on?
Do you mean, like, do I think that they're, like, swapping tips?
Yeah, well, it's like they're all in on it. It's like they know what cheese pizza is. They know what dissociation is. It shows up in the art. They know that associating pain with certain frequencies and colors causes something. You know, it causes an association between those things. It's like how is it they all know this? I mean, if they were just perverts and they came to this on their own, how do they know all this like secret language stuff that they do?
Well, yeah, they're organized.
There's a network. There's obviously a network. I think, okay, before we get into a really deep discussion about that, we have actually hit like the end of the first hour. So why don't we unrussell ourselves for like 5 minutes? Everybody go punch a door or something. And we will, how's that sound?
That'll work.
That? All right.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll listen to a song, and we will unrussell ourselves. And this is going to be, hold on a second. This is Bubba Drub with Tribulation. And we'll unrussell ourselves, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, everybody, we're back. This is still the Paranormies presents the Ahnenerbe Hour. I am still Johnny Monoxide, alongside Adam Haidt, Scott Taylor, Musonius, Rufus, and our friend Rybo. We are talking about this PED0TUBE thing. And Rybo, you guys came together in sort of an interesting way about this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're all 4chan idiots and 8chan, various parts of the internet, various internet autists, weaponized autism gathered together through various discords, merged to one big discord. And then we created another new discord to filter out new recruits, got a bit more secretive as we kept looking into this ARG, but I kind of want to mention that a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the end, it was created by this guy who I'll refer to as PK. That was a symbol he used, his signature, his calling card, to, describe everything, to put this all together in a puzzle. He used ciphers, he used these trigger videos, and he had a lot of strange themes, and they were all related to pedophilia, child sex trafficking, and mind control. Some of the themes were like the Beast of Jersey, some killer in the Isle of Jersey who wore a really creepy, scary mask and abducted children over in England. It was also another man, and I'm forgetting his name. I want to say Oliphantus, but that's not right. He called himself the King of Eckerhouse, was falsely accused of being the Beast of Jersey, and he went into self-exile. We drew some conclusions that the creator of the ARG was sort of falsely accused of something himself, tried to bring it to light, the truth, and he was subjected to some awful stuff himself.
Are you in contact with this person?
Yeah, our group has maintained a regular contact with him. He's been very altruistic about everything, very straightforward, and we feel that his motives were true and honest. He's a little, strange and reclusive, but you'll have that with somebody who's had a difficult past and may have been subjected to this, child stuff. I don't want to speculate, but he may be a victim himself.
Well, that's always a possibility because there's many, many, many millions of people who've been exposed to this. And the Monarch mind control stuff has been out there for a long time. So, he could have been part of the programming. Who knows?
Yeah, I think his goal was really to bring this to light. He saw these YouTube videos getting popular, and he said, "This is similar to what I've been through. This is something that needs to be exposed right now." And so he put together a little game, and I think he knew the power of weaponized autism. He knew that this would attract a little following, to put all the pieces together. And then really without him getting involved, we kind of formed two separate groups. One to solve the ciphers, solve the puzzles, complete the ARG, and another to investigate the YouTube group. So when we finished the ARG, that Discord, that group kind of, we're still there, we still hang out, but there's not much left to do. We came to an end. But the YouTube investigation group, well, we're continuing to grow. There's so much more to find, and we keep digging. We're digging into the docs, the creators, but it's not the puppets. It's not the people who are making these that we're after. We want to try to find the puppet masters and really what's behind it all.
Well, I'd really like to think that we could get these puppet masters, but at this level, there's layers upon layers of who it goes through to get to the actual people who are in charge of this.
I think it's interesting that you found the emails from Girl Games were connected to the emails of the YouTube content, because there's, that's not an accident. That's not just a coincidence. Obviously, these groups are related, or it might be the same groups themselves.
For sure. A way I look at it is that the Flash games is kind of like a phase one. It was something that they could get away with online. And then they realized that YouTube age restrictions are pretty much up to the user who creates the videos. They're to the content creators, unless they're ridiculously flagged on a constant basis. And that probably is ratio based. So when you have 20 million views and only 10,000 reports, it's just a drop in the bucket.
And then they can get all this stuff into the YouTube Kids app,
right?
For more effective targeting.
Here's the thing that really gets me is, how is this even allowed into YouTube Kids?
Yeah, because isn't that supposed to be like curated to some degree?
Yeah. That's the whole point.
And it's not like people aren't reporting it.
Right.
YouTube Heroes seems to be working out pretty well.
YouTube Hero?
YouTube Heroes was a program that YouTube introduced last year for people to self-monitor videos, and you run through the ranks through flagging and mass flagging. And,
right, and nobody's flagging these videos. Literally, nobody is flagging these videos.
Advertise. They're all monetized too. They all have.
They're the ones I saw, like 120 million views, like 40 million views, 80 million views. Like, it's how? Like, who is watching this and why? How? You know?
Well, if I were a detective and I thought that there might be some child abuse going on, I would know that YouTube knows everything about these people because they're monetized, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to give money to someone, you're going to know their name, social security number, and such.
Oh, for sure. So, it's usually one. It's like not just one person owns one channel. It's usually one person behind 10 or more channels, and there's definitely a Hydra effect where if one of their channels go down, 2 more pop up.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Well, it seems like. If you told a judge about this, like, you could get a search warrant and you could go find out who these people are. If one were so inclined, I mean,
right? But
we would hope, and that's what
you'd have to be inclined, you know.
Our docs team is looking into it, but again, they're just the puppets. They're just in it for the money. They might not even know what the greater meaning, the greater purpose behind all of this is. But perhaps one of them will come out and they could give us some information. So,
you talking about programmers or?
I mean, the content creators who are, especially the live action video.
Oh yeah, the live action. Okay, so these people are actually acting out these videos. That's the other thing. There are human beings dressed up like Elsa, Maleficent, Joker, Spider-Man, whatever, doing these things, actually doing these videos, and they can't not know that that's weird, right? You know, like if you're a normal human being and you know about whatever, you know, Disney, you know that Elsa is not pregnant in the Frozen movie, but you know you're gonna be Spider-Man in the Elsa's pregnant and I'm gonna pull the baby out of her belly video. You know, like, how do you do that and not know that you're doing something weird?
No, never underestimate the normal fag. Like, the people that they would hire to do this, like, they don't give a fuck about anything.
Are you seriously saying that
they're shitty 2-bit actors?
Their bottom line is the dollar. If you look at the Ethan Bradbury ones, for example, you can tell that he uses different girls all the time, and they're probably just actors he gets off of Craigslist.
Oh, right. And no, I've actually, the Bradbury ones are almost every video is a different girl. He's got
He probably hits on them and then ruins the relationship, so they don't want any involvement after one.
Creepy. Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he gets, like, the same people to do the Spider-Man and shit. Because if somebody could somehow dox one of the actors and then just go contact them somehow, that seems like that'd be a good way to find out, you know, like, work your way up from there. Like, oh, who did you work for? Like, who paid you to do this? Or, like, who paid you to grab Dr. Pablo, you know?
Yeah, we're doing our best to determine that. And like I said, hopefully we could find somebody that wants to out this and give us as much information as they can. Someone that we can talk to directly, right? Hopefully. That would be very useful.
How did you connect the email addresses?
Some of them just happily list their emails in the contact section, so a Google search or two can connect them to multiple YouTube accounts, and some of them came back to those games. 88 Games was one that's definitely connected to multiple YouTube channels.
88 Games.
Yeah, and it's that the strange thing about the 88 Games is a search for 88 Games or 88G brings a lot of results of different websites that are all the same, different Flash games, but there are like a dozen 88 websites that all have these games.
Think they're
Might
using
be
the 88 meme?
One goes down.
Again, yeah, the Hydra effect.
Yeah. One goes down, 3 more come up. Yeah.
It's very clear cultural appropriation of our 88. That's
Yeah, they need to stop
it's-
appropriating our memes, okay?
yeah.
88 is our
It's a white-
meme.
It's a white symbol. It's a culture, not a costume. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Podesta took 14, and now these guys are taking 88.
That's right.
Well, Rybo,
you don't just Heil.
I'm looking
You
at-
don't just Heil Hitler, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rybo,
There's
I'm
plenty
looking.
of Hitler for your family.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at these notes. What's the Finder's Cult, Rybo?
So the Finder's Cult is part of the ARG with some associations to Pelzer, South Carolina. Finder's Cult is definitely associated with the kidnapping and trafficking of children. They were busted, but they supposedly still exist. There's a town in Virginia that the name escapes me, but they're still connected to Pelzer for sure, which is a mysterious town in and of itself. They use child labor for sure. The Pelzer mill was active until the 1950s, and there's photographs on the Pelzer website that just show very, very young, like 8 to 10-year-old children who worked in this mill. And it's suspected that that's possibly some of the origins of this MKU child grooming type mind control experiments, that perhaps this Pelzer mill is an origin of these, and that the Finders is connected to that.
When you say they were busted, like some of them were caught.
Some of the group members, called out the other members, and they disassociated with it, but it exists for sure. These people are still around today, and they all still have ties to each other. We've had some people look into them, but looking into them is scary because they're very tech savvy, and they have been since the early days of the internet. So we have our own safety concerns about really researching these people, but they still exist. They're mostly hippies. They're mostly involved in community groups, commies.
They're
Commies?
hippies in the rural South. Is that what they are, Rybo?
For the most part, yeah. And it seems like they still have ties to all of this.
Huh. That's I know people in South Carolina.
One interesting fact about Pelzer is that the population is about 2,000, 2,400, and there are 3 Masonic temples there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. There's. You said it's less than how many people?
2,400.
Yeah, and three temples.
Well, there's Pelzer and West Pelzer. West Pelzer has the majority of the people, about 2,000, but Pelzer itself has about a population of 100. And supposedly it's 3 big families, all stemming from the founders of this mill. And they pretty much run the town, that the cops are dirty, that they'll pull over people who have out-of-state plates, and that they'll send them to jail for the wrong reasons.
Well, you're always going to have 2 anyway, Masonic lodges, because it's still segregated in the South. So you're going to have the Prince Hall Lodge and then the White Lodge.
Isn't the Prince Hall Lodge the Black
No.
Lodge, though?
What'd you say?
Isn't the Prince Hall Lodge the Black Lodge?
Yeah, that's the Black Lodge. That's the
Okay,
That's
clandestine.
funny.
Right.
It's not officially recognized by the Grand Lodge of South Carolina.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah.
The one where they keep the blacks.
No, it's segregated. So the Grand Lodge of Tennessee is in Nashville, and that's for whites. And then the Grand Lodge of the Prince Halls is in Memphis, and that's for blacks. And the 2 do not intermix.
Interesting. Why is there a black hall at all?
The Prince Hall was created during the American Revolution up in New England, and then it spread on its own among freedmen. So there's been most of the South was segregated, but anyway, states have been cucking and letting Prince Hall Masons into their lodges, but the Prince Halls will maintain their own lodges at the same time. So.
Right.
Another connection that we had through this ARG was to the Hell's Gate Cemetery in Spartanburg, which is kind of near Greenville. Johnny, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know. I've heard of it. It's the super creepy, because I went to school in Greenville, South Carolina for a while. I went to Greenville High. I went to Bob Jones Academy. That is like the super creepy cemetery. God damn, I can't believe I forgot that word. Cemetery in Spartanburg, where there's been many ghost sightings and all kinds of other ethereal things happen. I wish we would have talked about this earlier. I would have pulled some stuff up, but yeah, there's plenty of stories that go along with that.
I apologize. I forgot about the connection.
No, it's okay. No. We didn't.
We've heard about underground networks of tunnels there, and part of the ARG included a handwritten note that gave directions from Pelzer to Spartanburg directly to this cemetery. And what's interesting about it is that it referenced Lot 22, which was a grave that was vandalized, and we can't determine who was buried there or if anyone was buried there at all. I think maybe that may be the access to these tunnels that are supposedly there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you need boots on the ground. It sounds like you need some detectives.
We've actually had that, and they could have been trolls. To be honest, we're not really sure, but we've had one guy who was directly connected to another guy on Steam. But everyone we sent there hasn't reported back.
Oosh.
Well, it's worrisome.
Wait a minute. What? Like they've actually disappeared permanently?
Yeah, we've had two separate groups. One who witched in the early phases before we completed the ARG, who went there, took proof. He took pictures of the mill from his car. Like, we know he was there for sure. And then all we got was several days later, he appeared in the Discord, said, "Hey guys, ? And he's been gone since then. Another group, after we finished the ARG, also took pictures of one of the Masonic temples, said, "I'm going to take a nap. We're going to go at 1 o'clock." And then we haven't heard from him since then. It's troublesome. We're worried. He hasn't logged in on Steam since then. Speculative, but we're really just hoping that they were trolling us.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
Wow.
Interesting.
We have another group prepared to go, someone more legitimate that we know isn't trolling.
Have them make them wear GPSs.
Yeah,
that's almost as
Periscope
don't wear bright colors.
Well, yeah, don't because the fairies will get you. But I was gonna say that's almost as legitimate as the racist things that were on LeBron James's house the other day. You guys remember that?
I didn't hear about this.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Oh, okay, never mind.
Who was that?
Never mind. It's some basketball American said that people painted the word nigger on his house, but he painted over it and then called the cops. So,
right.
Hey, Rabbi, what you doing?
Yeah, it's Hey Rabbi. Oh, Rybo knows about Hey Rabbi. Okay, yeah.
Jewish lady.
Okay, so Rybo, just let's recap here. The Finders cult is some sort of hippie commune that abducts children. That's in Pelzer, South Carolina.
Pelzer. And Pelzer is a super hippy dippy, like creepy town to begin with. Like everything about Pelzer is weird. Okay.
Well, it looks like Appalachia almost. I'm looking at pictures of it.
It does, but like again, there's and I don't want to get into the Masonic thing, but there's 3 Masonic temples there. And there's like there's all kinds of other stuff that's just like really just
they're
weird.
Lodges. They're Masonic lodges, okay?
Temples, lodges. Just, semantics at this point. Don't be anti-Semitic.
I could go knock on the door and get into one of those lodges.
Well, of course you could. You're a Mason.
Yeah, so you think the band
Sounds like the Paranormies are on the case.
That's right. I'm not gonna. Listen, the Paranormies are not anti-Masonic. Okay, just for the record.
Okay, I could rent a car and then go down there and see what's going on. What I suspect is that there's lots of little like hippy dippy communes throughout the South because you can hide.
Oh, Pelzer's got it, but no, I've always thought that Pelzer was the more hippy dippy than like conspiratorial, like, you know. And I even told you this earlier, Rybo, that I thought that the hippies were more influential in Pelzer than any other sort of thing. Then that's like the communal, you know, we all live together, we all love one another. That whole thing.
Yeah, and that's definitely what the finders that we've researched are doing with themselves now. They live in communes. They do that. So
that's pretty gay.
The travelers are down. The Irish travelers are down there in Aiken, across from Augusta, Georgia.
Yep, Aiken, South Carolina. Yep.
Yeah, they do the weird preteen beauty pageants where they
that's
where,
really
where they auction off
creepy.
their brides. Yeah,
that's super creepy. They're just auctioning off 11-year-olds to get pregnant. Just stop it.
Yeah, to old men. Yeah, there's plenty of like little communities throughout the South where they're isolated and stay away from everybody. So they're a famous example. You know, they come from Ireland. You know, they're the Pikeys from Snatch. You know.
Yeah, I fucking hate Pikeys. I love that part.
Fucking hate them.
Fucking hate them. Yeah. It's a caravan. You want to get a caravan? Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah.
Periwinkle Blue.
It's Periwinkle.
Dags.
I know, right? Yeah, you like dags. Do you like dags? What? Yes, I like dogs. Yes, I like dogs. Yeah. Anyways, we can pikey post for a while.
Well, I'm sort of interested if there's this Finders cult is down there. I'd like to go down there and do some investigation, actually.
We'd love to have you on the ground crew team.
Because, I know where the queers have their little communes, but they're just queers. You know, this is pedophiles.
Yeah.
You know, if you just take a look at Pelzer from Google Maps overview, you'll see so many paths that just go into the woods and stop. And, you know, maybe that's hunting, but it's just really strange. Some of them go to a clearing in the middle of the woods that just has a circle.
And then they disappear.
For no reason.
And then it disappears. Yeah.
And many of which are right next to a river.
Well, and the thing is these are on Google Maps, which it's not just like, you know, they pick up where 2 or 3 people tramped through the bush. These are well-traveled footpaths.
One thing to note is that there's a bunch of graffiti in the Pelzer Mill, and that may or may not have been created by our ARG guy. One of the things it says is Terabithia, and it says it a few times. The author of the children's book, Bridge to Terabithia, which is about a child losing their best friend, and escaping to a fantasy land, referencing C.S. Lewis, Terabithia. It's all over that mill, and I wonder if the author who lived in North Carolina is also familiar with what was going on in South Carolina. She's up in years, but we'd like to actually talk to her about it a little bit.
That's interesting.
I got to say, this whole thing, I went to take out the dog for like 5 minutes. I came back, and this whole thing's got me freaked out.
Hey guys, and for the record, the LeBron James, nigger spray painting on his garage, with the amount of video cameras on the property, nobody saw anything. So I'm gonna go with
good spray painter.
What you doing there, Rabbi? And LeBron James is just, nig's gonna nog.
He's getting irrelevant, needed some attention.
Well, he's in the NBA Finals. Okay, he's in the NBA Finals, which is the Basketball American for the final grouping of Basketball Americans to win the most amount of money, And that shiny.
It's kind of an odd time to do it.
Well,
You think wait till.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, no, there's no video evidence of it, even though there's 147 fucking cameras on the property. So
Sounds like a case for the Paranormies.
I think the Paranormies should go to Cleveland. Adam, you're on it. That's you, Adam.
We go and like actually spray paint a nigger on his house. Be like, there it is.
No, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Is we go to his house and spray paint the word nigger on his garage. No.
All right, we've gotten kind of off track.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to not think about kids being fucking tortured by, neurolinguistic programming and fucking MK Ultra stuff. I'm trying to think that there isn't some sort of governmental program to make my kid into some weird thing.
Well, I don't think it's governmental.
I mean,
you don't think the CIA has anything to do with this?
Governmental.
Hold on.
Well, it's like I said earlier, like they could possibly be involved, but I don't think that they are singularly involved. They are just, whoever is doing this is borrowing techniques and, sort of like technology, so to speak, in order to do this sort of thing. It's very hard to make one clear group that is like masterminding all of this, because you've got, for example, just generally speaking, child pornography and human trafficking is an extremely lucrative industry, which is global. It's an international industry, which means that there is huge amounts of money going into this sort of thing. So, paying people to make these videos is not going to be a problem. Like they have the resources to do it, and we already know that these videos are being made in all over the place. In Russia, there's videos that have Arabic in it, like Vietnam. So there's certainly going to be a lot of different groups together in on this sort of thing. Well, I already know it's a common tactic to use, sort of like child prostitutes to blackmail officials, political figures, that sort of thing. Take a look at Jeffrey Epstein with his Lolita Express, the thing he was up to. And
that's a whole different thing, though. He had his own island.
Well, it's an example.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a, I guess, theory. Could it be that they have all these different languages and stuff to try to kind of codify the same sort of thing around the world? Like, how's it? Okay, so how you can speak English in pretty much any country and someone understands you? Could it be the kind of thing where they're trying to get it so that you can say a certain phrase or show kids certain colors pretty much wherever, whether it's the United States or Thailand or Vietnam or whatever, and have some sort of psychological effect on them? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
why would the language, like, you just use whatever language a kid knows?
Well, yeah, I get that, but like,
you
show them certain colors and stuff, and it makes them more susceptible. Like, I guarantee, if you go up to Miley Cyrus and show her a picture of a butterfly, she'll probably suck your dick. Like,
yeah, no, that's that whole monarch thing. Yeah, no, when you see
BRB going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Adam, are you here? Adam, are you here? No.
So do you think maybe it's something like that, where they're trying to kind of codify a specific, international pedophile language? I don't know.
Well, to me, all these videos are just like to soften up people, right? Because it's not easy to kidnap children, right? Like, it's not like a trivial.
Is it?
Well, to create a whole network of it, right? And so if they can just soften up people or children, so that it sort of like broadens the scope of who they are able to target with this sort of thing. That is my opinion about the purpose of having all this stuff on YouTube, because let's say theoretically they have some kind of nasty dungeon somewhere where they carry out these sorts of programming, like on an individual basis, like physically on these people, on the children.
Yeah.
you know, like they can have all sorts of videos for that. So why would they upload them on YouTube, right? Well, it seems like it's just to disseminate these, you know, these themes, these dissociative effects. Because it's not like using media to control people is anything new. Like, hello, we're living in post-World War II. Why America? You can use television and movies and YouTube and this sort of thing to control people. It's not, it's a science pretty much at this point.
Right.
So using sort of broad method, sort of a, you know, like a shotgun thing where you're just sending out this hypnotic crap to as many people as possible. Like they already do that, just in a different context. That is already well established as an extremely effective technique.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm curious how, because we're talking about monarch mind control, which is really, you know, it comes from the assassination conspiracies of the 1960s. It's an allegation that MK Ultra got up to a very fine art with all the, you know, the psychological techniques and drugs that it was using in the 50s that have been revealed. Well, how does... I just want to know how these two populations cross over. It seems like you're always... wherever there are pedophiles, there are abused children. They're trying to abduct the children, right? So you have abused victims, and then you have these mind control techniques. How do these two worlds cross over? Is there like an abused child pipeline where these kids end up being conditioned to be slaves or something?
All it takes, I mean, as far as these pedophile rings obtaining the techniques, like all it takes is one pedophile in the CIA to leak this stuff out.
And we know that the CIA, like secret services, secret intelligence services all over the world, like
whoa. Are you saying the CIA does stuff that, you know, is illegal or against the codes of like...
Well, I'm saying
they don't have to. Like, they can have someone on staff who's secretly a pedophile. He's friends with a bunch of other pedophiles.
Right.
And he gets a hold of this, the Monarch program. And rather than using it to have sleeper cells to assassinate the Russian prime minister, he just says, hey, guys, I bet we can, you know, molest more kids with this. And he tells his friends.
We already know the secret intelligence services have a lot of homosexuals in them, which we know have a higher rate of pedophilia. Like, it was going to happen at some point. And they you know, the CIA has no scruples on anything. They'll run drugs, they'll run weapons, they'll run anything if it makes money. Like, they don't give a fuck.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they have wherever you find narcotics, you find spooks. So, well, yeah, it's like they don't have any qualms when
it's like they call it the CIA is the cocaine importation agency.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary Webb, I guess back in 2004, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice.
Yeah,
you know,
twice.
He was the
twice.
Yeah, he was the guy
the first time it didn't work. Yeah,
he exposed the CIA, you know, Iran-Contra cocaine connection.
Right.
So, and if these people bring cocaine into the country, you know, maybe they don't think twice about using these techniques on a population of abused children that they have access to. I don't know.
And, you know, like, just reading about the Clintons and the amount of people, like, those guys, I don't even think the Clintons are that particularly smart or plugged into, like, in terms of control. The Clintons, to me, always seemed like a bunch of grifters. But,
well, the
like,
fact
those
that
guys
we know who they are kind of means that they're not particularly smart, you know? Like, we don't know the names of the people really running this shit.
Right, like, even those, like, they'll just kill people. They'll beat the shit out of people.
Right.
Like, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they'll kill kids. I mean, those two kids that died on the railroad tracks down in Arkansas, they allege that.
Wasn't one of them? Didn't one of them have their head cut off and they're like by the train? They're like, yeah, even though the head got cut off by the train, it had 2 bullet holes in the back of his dome.
Yeah.
That one is they allege that they fell asleep on the railroad tracks. What happened was they were watching drops. You know, planes drop things into the woods, so they wanted to go find out what these drops were, and then they got hit by a train.
Yep.
And the coroner was a Clinton appointee when he was governor, and that coroner was such a bad coroner that he even alleged that someone that had been decapitated died of natural causes.
Yeah.
Right.
And Clinton defended him vociferously.
Yeah, it gave him a raise for all the stuff he did, but he said these kids fell asleep on the railroad tracks. Another autopsy revealed that one kid's head had been smashed, and I forget what happened to the other kid, but they were both probably murdered and laid on the railroad tracks. But
Yep,
I don't mean to go off on a Clinton tangent. Yeah.
No, well, actually, speaking of Clinton tangents, I think that after this episode that we're going to release this week, we're going to release an episode about the Clintons next week with an interview that Adam and I did with a Clinton whistleblower. It's a little bit of a hint. So, Adam.
Yeah, it's really something.
yeah, it is. Hey, Musonius, we might have you come on and do a little bit of a pregame for that, just to punch it up or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, I'll just talk about the Clintons. But going back to our grand theories here, I'd like to hear Rybo's theory about. I mean, how do these mind control techniques intersect with the whole pedophiles? I mean, what's going on here?
I can't speak for my group as a whole, so I think we all have some different theories. I'll share my personal theories. I kind of went on about this before. I think it has to do with the different phases of the MK Ultra projects, Monarch and Bluebird, especially with the infantile videos being geared toward colors and triggers and that whole learned helplessness ideology. Then you advance on getting a little bit older. You have kids who are interested in comic books and Disney movies. So you bring in the Joker and Spider-Man and Elsa
and
they're doing
and the other ones, yeah.
And you know what? Another thing is that it's always those characters. There's no Superman. There's no Iron Man. Why isn't there Iron Man? Wasn't he hugely popular? But it's just those, and then there's a new Spider-Man movie about to come out. So we're prepared for a million more of these kids' videos to come out that coincide with the release of Spider-Man, and then all this product placement that's going to be in the stores. Kids are going to see a Spider-Man backpack, and they're going to be reminded of Spider-Man taking a piss on Elsa, and they're going to think it's okay. That it's okay. Spider-Man does that, so it's okay if I do it, or it's okay if someone does that to me.
That's just creepy.
It seems like it's definitely conditioning type stuff. Like, like I brought up earlier, I don't think we talked about it enough about how there's this scat and poop stuff going on. It's not just Spider-Man taking a piss on Elsa. It's people taking a shit and then people eating it.
It's extreme fetishes. If you go to bizarre fetish websites, you'll see BDSM and piss and scat and all that stuff, and that's the same themes as these kids' videos. Go to extreme red tube, or I can't think of a good one.
I don't. Yeah, you don't know. Don't.
Let me just check my bookmarks bar here.
Yeah, Adam. What are your porn bookmarks, real quick? No, anyways.
Loading. It's a big list.
So actually, let's get Kirk Eichenwald's porn things for today.
So we have a phase one and a phase. We have a phase one and a phase two established. I'm scared about what's phase three going to be.
Hold on, what's phase two? What's phase two?
Well, I think phase one is the childhood, the infancy stage with the colors and the helplessness, and phase two would be the checklist of the 30 things: the spiders, the injections, the pregnancy. It's just steps of conditioning, and really, I don't think we've seen the phase three, which is the activation, the getting kids to do it or getting kids to accept it. So that's the reality that hopefully we could stop.
Super creepy.
That's the goal of our group. We really just want to spread awareness of this and make sure that kids aren't watching it, the parents are aware that this is out there, and that they have better control over what their kids are watching.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it should be, actually.
We have no monetary gains or anything in mind. We're just good guys who want to, make people know what's going on. We've had shills too. We've had some asshole post on Reddit about how anti-Semites are trying to make money off of Finger Family and Elsa videos, but It's awful. You know, who are they? Maybe they're the finders. Maybe they're CIA people involved trying to shut us down.
Anti-Semites are making money off of this. Somebody contact me.
That's what they said about
Somebody contact me so I can make some shekels, please.
Yeah.
Because none of us are making any money. Yeah.
I jokingly said, "Oh, I just recorded a new Finger Family song. Put it in the video, guys." And so they put that on Reddit and saying we're trying to make it's awful. But you know, even Reddit recognized that they're a shill. So whatever.
Well, if I were independently wealthy, I'd love to track down these groups that do this stuff, because it's like I was telling you, it's like I could find out who these guys are. You know, why isn't this stuff investigated?
Just like if one channel gets shut down, I think you shut down one producer, you're gonna have two more.
Yeah, I think. Well, and again, you have a lot of these non-English speaking programmers just making stuff that they're being told to make with like keywords or whatever. You know.
Oh yeah, it's very simple stuff done by a novice programmer in Unity or some open source engine.
But then it gets super deep, and you see like Elsa's butt getting injected with stuff. So like, no, it's like it goes from this might be something not weird, but holy shit, this is really fucking weird.
It always gets worse no matter where you start.
Yeah. And like I said, a while back, I said I started watching the Bad Baby Colors thing, and I just let it go, and I let YouTube, pick the next video, and it was like 5 or 6 videos in that it was scat porn, and then injections in the butt, and then C-sections with kids, and it was deeper and deeper. And what the fuck are these people letting our children watch?
YouTube has to have some minor involvement, because it's just like the theory of how you could put on the darkest, most fucked up black metal song, but you leave YouTube auto playing for a few hours and you're going to be on top.
And you're right there. Yeah, you're right there to Drake and his favorite song. Whatever, yep.
Exactly.
I think that YouTube's got to be at least a lot. I don't know. It's responsible.
Complicit.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking back about this whole thing is this whole thing could be solved by authorities if they wanted to solve it easily. Like if you guys who aren't cops, who aren't detectives, who don't have any legal recourse other than what's out there as far as open source, can find out as much as you have found out about it, why can't the police find out anything? Why can't YouTube find out anything?
Well, why, I mean, implying that they haven't been shut down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know Musonius was saying earlier about the payments and stuff. Like, it's not that hard to find out where this money's going to. It's not that hard to get Disney to ping these people for content. I could sing "Let It Go" off key right now, and we'd probably have this
this whole show would be shut down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for Disney infringement.
Please don't do that,
somehow
because I've heard you sing. So,
but like this whole thing could be solved in a matter of days if people had the willpower to do so. Yeah. But no one wants to seem to do so, and I think that's what bothers me the most about all of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I know I could find out, who these people are if I had the time and resources. I mean, I could do it. It's sort of like Pizzagate all over again. I'm telling you, if people have these international signs of child trafficking attached to their businesses, and they're somehow related to the DOJ, it's like, well, why isn't that investigated? That's pretty obvious, actually.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't some like deep clue that needs to be sussed out. It's like the most obvious leads possible, and it's like, I just don't see anything here. Like, come on, really?
Yeah, exactly. And that infuriates me. I mean, and what you guys said at the beginning, it's like you just want to kill these people. You just want to destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say how I really feel about this when we're recording.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It's just it's incredibly frustrating. it really does remind you of Pizzagate as far as the helplessness.
It's very
to be able
it's
to
very
see
close
this,
to Pizzagate. Yeah.
To be able to just have it right within your grasp, to understand that this is going on, and at the same time to realize there's nothing you can really do about it. It's incredibly frustrating. Like, what do you do? Honestly, like, what do? You can't fucking find out who these people are. You can't go to their houses and arrest them. The only thing you can do is make noise about it and hope that someone else can do something about it. But, you know, if no one with authority can do anything and no one with resources does anything about it, what the hell are you supposed to do? It's just frustrating.
Yeah, I think we're doing the right thing. I mean, you know, conspiracy theory is a way for the non-Marxists to fight the rich and powerful, and that's what, you know, we're talking about here. We're talking about, you know, the big boys, and the authorities aren't going to do anything. But if we spread around, you know, these theories, those, you know, more and more people will be on our side. So
Definitely.
That's the purpose of our group. We want to raise awareness, and I think a big phrase we throw around is "behold the power of soccer moms." If we can get enough mothers just aware, I think we'll force YouTube to do something about it, and that's a big goal of ours.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, pissed off soccer moms, you know, can really change a lot of things. You know, look at that's why you have to buy alcohol at 21 now instead of 18.
If we can disrupt their view count, then we'll be doing some good at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, God, it's shit's so fun.
well, God bless you, Rybo, for doing this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Thanks, Rybo.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming on short notice and doing as much as you have tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and thank you for helping us spread awareness of this.
Dude, of course. This is, you know, like, this is what we do. We want this to be spread so the normies can see it, so everybody can see it. We want to, you know, shed the light into the dark corners of whatever, you know. Shit. Adam, got anything in closing, bud?
No, I'm, you know, thanks again, Rybo. This was, you brought a lot to the table that we would not have had without you. So this is like, Providence.
Yeah,
thanks for doing my research, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been my pleasure to be here. And just one more thing I want to say is that anybody who looks a bit more deeply into this, definitely, you know, to take some time to breathe and, you know, don't look too deep. And I'm not saying don't dig too deep. I'm not trying to be a shill here, but it can be disturbing. It can really, you know, upset you. So just make sure you do this carefully and make sure that you're in a good mental state when you're doing research on this stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, these are literal, like, programming, like subconscious programming techniques. Like the stuff that it exists because it works.
Sure, it can affect adults too, so be careful.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Exactly.
It can affect you, let alone your kids. So yeah. So Musonius, you got anything in closing, bro?
No, I think we've covered it. It just infuriates me that I can't investigate this and put a stop to it. So.
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, just keep a fucking eye on your kids. Like, it's not that hard to make sure they're not doing shit, you know? And yeah, like what Rybo said about being careful and protecting yourself. Like, as much as I want to figure out what's going on here, like, I can't do this after this episode. I gotta wash my hands of it because it just fucked me up so bad.
It makes me want to kill people. It literally makes me want to kill people.
It makes me want to kill people. It's depressing. It just messes you up so much. Like, I've been looking into this for what, when we find out, like a week ago?
About a week ago. It's been 8-9 days, and like it's been like none of us, like, we'll normally come up with a topic, and like, you know, somebody will have a topic and we'll talk about it. We'll bounce each other, like, whatever. Here's this, here's that. This is like nobody's talking about it. Everybody's angry. Like, this is literally one of those topics where it's just like, you know, nobody wants. Everybody wants to kill each other that's talking about it. Like, no, it's bad. So
yeah, I've spent maybe I'd say 7 or 8 hours total looking at this stuff,
and it made you angry the entire time.
Well, it made me angry, yeah. But I mean, even beyond that, just watching the videos, like, honestly fucks you up. Like, something about it.
It's disturbing.
Like
it's really disturbing. Oh my God. Yeah. It's really disturbing. Yeah.
The finger song, I hope I get it out of my head. It just, something about it just bothers me. Like, I don't know how to explain.
I would rather listen to the worst Seventh Son parody.
Like,
whoa,
I'm a grown
and by
adult
worst,
in my
I mean
20s.
I love all your songs, Sven.
Like, I don't know. I'm a grown adult in my late 20s, and this messed me up. So if it messes me up, I can't imagine it.
And it doesn't mess you up. You have issues. Go talk to a doctor that has a psychology degree.
Like, I don't consider myself to be a squeamish person, you know? Like, I can.
No, you're not.
see
I've seen
videos.
some of the shit you've posted in our group. You're not squeamish. Okay.
Like,
I've seen some things where I've been like, literally, what the fuck, Scott? But like, but this is a bridge too far. I get it. No, this is a bridge too far. You have a child. This is children. Okay. No, I get it.
Like, I get it. I've seen, you know, like an ISIS beheading video. It doesn't bother me as much as that fucking finger song. Something about it. Just,
because it triggers your fatherly instinct. Because there's something there.
It has to be it.
That has, yeah. Anyways, all right.
People deserve to die. That's all I'm saying.
They do. Rooftops are not good enough. Shit. All right, fellas. So I promise you guys next week will be a much lighter topic. Love you all for listening.
The Clintons.
Yeah. Shut up. Shh. No. Oh God. Yeah. All right. Whatever. This has been fun.
Sorry, you can go ahead. We'll talk about it off air, I guess.
Okay, let's talk. Okay, so this has been a fun or not fun night. A lot of weird shit going on. Keep an eye on your kids' YouTube, people. Okay, just keep an eye on what your kids are watching. All right. For therightstuff.biz, I am Johnny Monoxide. For Scott Taylor, Adam Haidt, Mr. Musonius, Rufus from Rebel Yell, and our friend Rybo from the Discord. This has been the Paranormies presents the Ahnenerbe Hour. We're gonna take you out with another creepypasta from our friend Bradshaw, and this is instant messaging. We will see you later.
Time travel makes you gay.
It all started on the 14th night of March, the night of my parents' 20th wedding anniversary. It was a wonderful, sunny day if memory serves, surprisingly warm for before the beginning of spring. The beautiful weather was perfect for the atmosphere of the day. Being married for 20 years is obviously a momentous occasion, so my parents had booked a table at our favorite Italian restaurant. Of course, this was a formal occasion, so I had my best suit on. It was 5:33 and I was just straightening my tie when my phone went off. I'd received a message. That's strange, I thought. That never happens. I checked the message. It was from my mom. It was a jumble of numbers and letters, but through the vocabulary stew, I could still make out one legible phrase. Please help me. It should go without saying that this worried me greatly, so I immediately replied, "Are you okay?" Just as instantly I got another text which read, "Oops, pocket text." I sighed with all the relief I had and continued to prepare myself. A few minutes later I received yet another message, this time from my dad. I checked the text and once again it was a massive mixture of letters and numbers with the phrase, "Please help me," concealed within. Creepy though this was, my dad was always a joker, so I presumed he was just joking around. Until I was sent another text saying, "Oops, pocket text." Now this sparked panic. Pure, unmistakable panic. Exactly half a minute passed when I received the exact 2 messages from my sister. This could not be coincidental. It just couldn't. In a state of sheer anxiety, I started to run to the restaurant. I made it about a quarter of the way there before I was stopped by a police officer. Main roads closed, he said. Huge car crash. This was the exact moment I realized just what had happened. I demanded to see the wreckage, a request which I was surprised was allowed. When I got there, it wasn't the remnants of the car that caught my eye, nor the flames billowing from the destroyed vehicle. No, I was horrified to see the lifeless corpse of my mother, father, and sister. I asked for the estimate of their times of death, and all three of them were killed instantly by the collision at 5:32.